The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Aspire Counseling Services. Call 829-7300. Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning. It was a video that sparked shock and outrage here at home and across the nation. A woman seen dragging a dog behind an electric scooter. After months of waiting, she's due back in court today. We'll tell you what for.
He's still in it. A Delano student is spelling his way into the next round of the National Spelling Bee. We'll check his progress this morning. Coming up.
Interest you in anything else?
Starting customers' days with a smile and something sweet. It's the shop's specialty now more than ever as they join a new employment program for people with special needs. This is Wednesday, May 29th, 2019. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Alex Fisher and Mary-Kate Paquette in for Kevin Charette, who's on the road. Actually, he's probably already there.
Yes, he is.
He posted pictures to Disneyland.
He's there, of course, checking out the new Star Wars land.
Bummer of an assignment. Right? He's just having a rough day.
You know, we put him through so much.
We do.
Such a hard
Absolutely. He would agree.
Yeah.
Could today be the day? After several delays, the East Hills Mall is set to go up for auction once again. A public auction of the 350,000 square foot property that was once the mall has been postponed twice. Documents show a notice of default was issued as developers stopped payments on a $7.5 million loan for a redevelopment project earlier this year. The property is now set to be auctioned on the steps of City Hall at 10 this morning. We'll be there and bring you an update on the auction today on 17 News at noon.
Day 3 of a frantic search for a missing at-risk adult continues. Bakersfield police say this man, 29-year-old Garrett Mount, went missing Sunday night. He was last seen around 9 o'clock on Truxton Avenue near the courthouse and Bank of America building. Police say Mount is considered at risk because of a medical condition. He's described as 6'1", weighs 175 pounds, with brown hair and blue eyes. He has a rose tattoo on his left hand and the word Mount on his stomach. If you have any information on his whereabouts, you're asked to call police at 327-7111.
5:03 now. New information this morning about a deadly crash involving a pedestrian in central Bakersfield. We first brought you this story as breaking news last night on 17 News at 5. Bakersfield police say a man ran across Buck Owens Boulevard around 4:15 yesterday afternoon. That's when a person heading north hit and killed him. The crash forced police to shut down Buck Owens Boulevard between Rosedale and Select for several hours. The driver stayed at the scene and is cooperating with police. BPD says it doesn't appear alcohol, drugs, or speed were factors in the crash.
The video sparked nationwide outrage, and today a woman suspected of animal cruelty is due back in court. This video surfaced in January, allegedly showing Elaine Rosa on an electric scooter while dragging a dog behind her. Court documents say the dog was hurt, and Rosa took it to an urgent care hospital. But she lied about what happened over fears she would be denied service. Photos and video of the incident quickly went viral, with protesters calling for her to face criminal charges. 40 days later, the district attorney's office charged her with a felony count of animal cruelty. A judge pushed the case back, but Rosa is scheduled to appear in court today and Friday for preliminary hearings.
Several people arrested in connection with a series of homicides this week are set to appear before judges today. Last night, we told you the sheriff's office confirmed a woman arrested Sunday on suspicion of first-degree murder on the same street as a deadly shooting earlier that day is connected to the death. 18-year-old Veronica Perez is accused of shooting a man to death on Tony Street in East Bakersfield. The Kern County Sheriff's Office has not released his identity. Perez is being held without bail and is due in court this afternoon. The man accused of killing another in a deadly fight in Ridgecrest this weekend is also set to appear in court. Police say Richard Castleberry got into a fight with Luis Fernando Vargas Quintero in a Ridgecrest parking lot early Sunday morning. A Ridgecrest officer saw Castleberry punch Quintero in the head, which caused him to fall to the ground. Paramedics rushed Quintero to the hospital, where he died. Officers later arrested Castleberry for Quintero's death. He's being held without bail and is due in court this afternoon. Finally, a man accused of stabbing another to death near Mill Creek Park is scheduled to appear before a judge. Bakersfield police say Terry Turpin stabbed Jared Heilman Thursday night on Lewis Pollard Drive just off 22nd Street. Paramedics rushed Heilman to the hospital, where he died. Turpin's being held without bail and is due in court this afternoon. After this latest string of deaths, there have now been 35 homicides this year in Kern County. 10 of them just this month. In comparison, there were 7 homicides in May of 2018. Though by our count, killings are down slightly. 2018 was the deadliest year on record for homicides in Kern County. At this time last year, there were already 43. You can find all of this information, plus the latest on the investigations, by going to our website, kget.com, and clicking on the Homicide Tracker icon.
The city of Bakersfield is looking to build a new park in a southeast Bakersfield neighborhood, and leaders want your input. City officials are applying for a grant to build a park just west of Union Avenue between Pacheco Road and Panama Lane. They want community members to share their thoughts on what kind of amenities should be in the park. The grant is due in August, and the city will find out if it's been awarded the money early next year. The city is holding 3 meetings to hear from you. The first is happening tomorrow night at 6 p.m. at 6800 Bromwell Street. The other 2 are set for June.
It's 5:07 now. A Kern County student competing in the National Spelling Bee is headed to the next round.
Petrol. P-E-T-R-E-L. Petrol.
Correct.
That word got Gabriel Nobleza to the 3rd round yesterday, and he correctly spelled vilify to advance to round 4. Nobleza is one of 565 spellers competing in the bee this week. He and 11 million other students started their journeys to the bee more than 8 months ago. The 8th grader attends Pioneer School in Delano, and this is his first time competing on the national stage. We heard from him between the 2nd and 3rd rounds about how he got to this point. He says he studied the round 2 list, but wishes he'd also studied Merriam-Webster. Gabriel had this message for his friends and family back home.
Thank you for all the support you've given me.
Bee Week continues with round 4 this morning. The finals are tomorrow. We'll be tracking Nobleza, and we'll keep you updated on his performance. He's doing great.
A very bright young man right there.
Yeah.
It is 5:08 now, and a new program is helping adults with special needs in our community find a purpose.
17's Tabitha Mills sharing how new advances for people with disabilities is bringing the community closer together through the Supported Employment Program.
That's right. Good morning, Maddie and Alex. Benjamin Dirks is the first graduate of the program. In just 2 weeks on the job, he's thriving as an employee and, in a way, an advocate. His time on the clock speaking volumes about the abilities of adults with special needs.
Hey, have a good day. Good morning. How may I help you today?
Meet Benjamin Dirks.
Can I interest you in anything else?
Ben, as he's known, is the newest employee at Donut Hut and Deli in downtown Bakersfield.
It's a little elbow grease.
He's really good. He's a good worker.
As an adult with special needs, it isn't easy finding employment, but Ben did.
I just wanted to contribute to a part of the community and help show people with special needs and developmental disorders that they can do anything they set their minds to, and they can have a job and hold one. Your total is $199.
Ben is the first graduate of the Supported Employment Program at New Advances for people with disabilities.
We get to put them through this foundational training that kind of prepares them to go out into the workforce, and then we get the opportunity to go kind of advocate for them and with them and get them a placement out in the community.
5, 6. I have to say this, seeing the people every day with their smiles and I have an excellent boss and everything, an excellent job coach and everything else, I'm saying pretty content working here.
It doesn't hurt that Ben loves donuts.
Oh, I love donuts.
Something he might love just a little more is his new sense of purpose.
Don't listen to the people who tell you that if you could set your mind to it, you can do anything you want. Bye, have a good day.
You can find Donut Hut and Deli at 2401 M Street. It's open Monday through Saturday, 4 a.m. to noon, and you can catch Ben there Monday through Wednesday. And if you know of a special needs adult in our community who could benefit from NAPD's Supported Employment Program, their service provider can refer them to the program.
Oh, we can find Donut Hut.
Oh, yes, it's right across the street.
With our eyes closed.
We were already talking about going there. But yeah, and Ben will be there. So
I'll have to ask him for some recommendations on some good donuts to try.
Fave donut?
Yeah, he said the maple rounds are pretty good.
And
so I went with
you can't go wrong with that.
You can't. You can't.
Or round.
No, you can't. Yeah, exactly. So.
Thanks so much, Dad. Really cool.
Hi, I'm Scott with Aspire. I want to personally thank Kern County for trusting Aspire with being a part of your family's recovery. At Aspire Counseling Services, we take this opportunity very seriously and would be honored for your continued support. Call us today.
Welcome back here at 520. In just 48 hours, Missouri could become the only state in the nation without an abortion provider. That's if state health officials don't renew Planned Parenthood's license, which expires Friday. So the organization is headed to court in St. Louis today, fighting to keep the clinic open. Planned Parenthood says health officials have asked their doctors to go through interviews as a condition of renewing the license, which it says is harassment and intimidation. Last Friday, Missouri Governor Mike Parson signed a bill that would ban most abortions after 8 weeks of pregnancy. The law is set to take effect in August.
If you're stressed out at work, you could have an actual medical condition. The World Health Organization now recognizes burnout in its guide as a legitimate medical diagnosis. The International Classification of Diseases Handbook places it in the section Employment or Unemployment Related Problems. Doctors can diagnose someone with burnout if they have these 3 symptoms: exhaustion, experiencing mental distance, or cynicism about their work and problems getting their job done successfully. Welcome back. It is 524, and more than 3/4 of Americans say they have a financial regret, and many of them say it has to do with their savings. A new survey at Bankrate.com says 76% of Americans regret waiting too long to save for retirement. They also regret not saving enough for emergencies. Other top financial regrets include taking on too much credit card and student loan debt, as well as not saving enough for their kids' education. For those looking to save, financial experts say it's simple to start. They recommend setting up an automatic deposit from your paycheck right to your savings account and retirement account. That way you're saving money before you even have a chance to spend it. Watch HGTV, and it's easy to think the home buying process is simple, but if you've ever gone through it, you know it's anything but. Money expert Stacey Johnson takes us through the steps to finding and buying the house of your dreams.
I don't care whether you're an experienced flipper. I don't care if you're a first-time home buyer. You have to do your homework, okay? Anybody that doesn't do the homework are opening themselves up for a can of worms.
Paul Moskowitz is a flipper. He buys and sells houses. But even with lots of experience, it's never a walk in the park.
I bought a house about 6 months ago that looked like it was going to be an easy flip. I ended up putting $25,000 into it before I could even show it.
Whether it's your first house or your 50th, buying a house can be very complicated. That's why you approach it step by step. Step 1, polishing that credit.
Credit score is vital. It's just vital. You need to be really above 600. You need to pay off those debts.
Polishing your credit takes some time. That's why you start the process at least a year before you tour that first house. Step 2, finding a lender and getting pre-approved for a loan. That's how you know how much you have to spend.
Now you're almost ready to start shopping, but first, step 3, deciding what you need, not what you want, or even what you can afford.
Don't buy more than what you can afford. Okay, that's still an issue these days. People always buy. People always live beyond their means.
One good idea is to make a checklist of what's important to you, from schools to size of the house to location. Know what you're looking for, then it's time for step 4, learning your market by looking at houses, lots of them. When you found the right one, it's time for step 5, making that offer. But make sure that offer is contingent on step 6, a thorough home inspection by a licensed professional. Your agent will help you find one.
Now that's the skinny for buying a house step by step, but if you're going to go down this road, you really need to flesh that out. So here's what you do. Go to moneytalksnews.com and just do a search for home buying. For Money Talks News, I'm Stacey Johnson.
Money Talks is brought to you by your local consumer credit counseling service. If you've got debt problems or just want some free budget counseling, call today.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Aspire Counseling Services. Call 829-7300.